Yesterday, 3rd January 2025, Eagle Dynamics announced its iconic And Beyond video. 3 elements are immediately identifiable: the spectacular silhouette of the Eurofighter Typhoon, a sort of map with a front line and some units, probably hinting at the dynamic campaign. Lastly, a map. Speculation started right away, but one of the rumours hints at the Vietnam map. I hope it isn't. Besides the lack of appeal to me, we simply do not have appropriate modules to populate it. Our Tomcat is, assuming we forget the Lantern, due to the AN/ALR 67 falls in the 80s. The upcoming Dash 95 may somewhat fit instead. Still, the Tomcat flew a few missions in Vietnam and only at the very last moment. The F-4E Phantom II in DCS is also mid-70s. We do not have any common versions that flew during the war. The MiG-21 Fishbed is the BIS upgrade, dating back to the 70s. The Fresco is not available in DCS yet, but the fresh new module is being developed by Red Star Simulations. Similarly, the F-8 Crusader and the A-6 Intruder will come at some point in the future. Not all versions may be accurate for the scenario. Unfortunately, we still lack fundamental aircraft such as the F-111 Aardvark and the F-105 Thunder Chief. The thing is, at the moment DCS represents better the Sabre vs MiG-15s period, then between the very late 70s to the late 80s or early 90s, and then skips to the 2000s. For this reason, there are vastly better maps I would like to see, and some of them may be work in progress already. For example, Korean Peninsula. Not a lot to say here. On paper, similar to Vietnam, but much more appropriate for the modules we have in DCS. The ongoing tension can offer plenty of ideas for many scenarios. North of Italy and ex-Yugoslavia, this country's fragmentation sparked conflicts in the 1990s and other insurgencies in the early 2000s. In a Cold War turned hot, it could be one of the axes of the Warsaw Pact's advance towards the regions of Trentino, Friuli and Veneto. Central Europe is another Cold War classic, with forces from different NATO countries stationed there. It could host scenarios from the Second World War to the 90s. The only drawback is the lack of naval warfare. Back to the Orient, Taiwan is an interesting setting, only in the game, of course, to represent modern tensions. Since several modules fall into the 2010s or late 2000s, we're also quite close time-wise. Somewhat similar to the first example, it can host hypothetical scenarios spanning decades. India, East-West Pakistan. Personally, this is less interesting compared to the previous examples. Also, it is way too big to be fully represented. This region saw several conflicts after the Second World War and the British withdrawal. Looking to a future tech capable of representing the whole world in DCS, such a map would neatly link to the Afghanistan map. These are just many examples, the first coming to my mind. I surely missed plenty. So although I respect the desire of many to have a Vietnam map, if I were ED or a third party, I would focus on another scenario. In premise, probably Korea. I am well aware players may not agree with my thoughts. In fact, we see AIM-54s related to 2010-plus scenarios, or Fighting Falcons and Hornets recycled to 1980s missions. Having Link 16 almost 30 years earlier must be quite handy indeed. Anyway, we will know in less than 2 weeks. The release of the video is scheduled for the 16th of January. Thanks for watching, and take care.